Thank you so much. Okay, this is from Jennifer. Jennifer, hi. Thank you for emailing in. I'm going to read this so we all understand. I think I have a gist of it, but for everyone to know what you're going through. So, hi, my boyfriend and I have been together for 9 years, and now he wants to get married, but I keep putting it off. I was married before, but he's never been married. I haven't said yes to him because I can't get over something his mother did to me more than 8 years ago. My boyfriend is fairly wealthy, and when I started to date him at the beginning, his mom told my boyfriend that I was a gold digger and that I was just after his money. She never told me that to my face until about a year into our relationship. We had a major blowout, and we are still very cold to each other after all these years. As she can now see, I'm not into this relationship just for money, as I have my own living with is very good. So it's not about the money. I'm getting the gist is you have your own money and you're living well on your own. I told my boyfriend how I felt, and he disagrees with me. He says, get over it. However, I can see that if his mother comes between us, I could eventually end up divorcing again. And I don't want that to happen. I like the way things are now. Any suggestions? Jennifer, that's a hard one because you not only marry the guy, you're marrying his family, and they're going to be your family. So, a couple things. You need to separate his mother's thinking from his thinking. After 9 years, I think he would have figured out if you were a gold digger or not. And we all bring something to every relationship, whether the guy has money, handsomeness, the woman is beautiful, talented, whatever. We bring all of that into a relationship, and people appreciate us for who we are, good, bad, or indifferent. And so we learn to do this really strange dance with each other, where we can appreciate what initially brought us there, but to write something down. But it's not what's going to keep us there, because after a while they can figure it out. And after 9 years, I think he's figured that out. So separate what his mother says from what he says, because it sounds like he loves you and he wants to have a life with you. He wants to have a life with you. And you've already had the blowout with your mother-in-law to be. She is a mother, and a mother's instinct is to always look out for her child, even if the child doesn't need protection. And so I wouldn't be as cavalier as your boyfriend to say get over it, because I think you need to be cautious as you enter this relationship. But I think you need to recognize that his thinking is different from his mother's thinking. And it sounds like over the years, you've also built a little bit of a nest egg for yourself, that you're comfortable with your own living situation and you don't need to depend on him for money. And so if you love him and he loves you and you believe that you can have a life together, um, do do what's right for you. But it sounds like that is not the issue that will break your relationship. However, you've said that you've been married before and that you're scared of being divorced a second time. I've said before, when people go looking for a problem, they will find it. And so my suggestion to you is to look at what caused the relationship to dissolve in the first place, your first relationship. What were the issues involved there? How did you participate in those issues? How were you involved in those issues? And if you haven't taken care of those problems, they will repeat themselves, because we are people of patterns. Humans repeat patterns on a regular basis. And if we don't work out the problems that we had initially, they will come again. And so, my suggestion to you is, rather than looking at his mother as the excuse for not getting married, is look at what fear you're feeling, what is causing you anxiety, that you don't want to move forward. Be honest about that with him, and work on it. because it sounds like you have someone who wants to be with you long term. But if you keep looking for problems, you will find them. Work on the issues that caused the problems in the first place for you to get a divorce. That would be my big suggestion. Okay. Let me look at this email again because you have a lot in here. It's clear that you are not a gold digger. um, Now, if he says get over it and you feel that he's being cavalier and not taking you very seriously, that's something you need to get over, because mothers and their sons will, they have a strong bond, as any parent with their child. And so you want to make sure that in the future, he is going to be by your side and he's going to stick with you, in your situations. When people get married, it's the whole leave and cleave situation. You both leave your homes of origin and you cleave to each other, and you become the new community, the new, for better or for worse. I know you've already been through a divorce, but I don't know if people are taking marriage as seriously as they should, because when you leave and cleave to this person, in the past, you had to build your own community. And so it wasn't so easy just to take off and go find somewhere else. So think of it that way when you go into this relationship, that this is for life. This is what you signed up for, and see how you can make it work. But you do not want to make you don't want the mother to be the reason that you are not following through with this marriage. Okay, Jennifer? I hope that helps. Okay, Ari. Hello, advice person. Hello. I love my wife very much, but I have a lust for a coworker, and she lusts for me. Both of us love our spouses, but we want more in the way of sex. Our spouses are not into it, and it's very frustrating. Okay, my dilemma. Should I have an affair just for sex, agreed upon by myself and my coworker, and not get a divorce? I know that this is a very hard and personal question to ask someone, but I've tried to discuss this with my wife, and she just blows it off. The same with my coworker's spouse. It is getting close. I assume you mean that wanting to have an affair is getting close, and the two of you are talking about this. The first thing, Ari, is you have a commitment to your wife. There's an old saying, the way you catch a man is the same way you're going to lose that man. If you are starting a relationship out because of an affair, it's not going to last. And if it does last, it's going to happen again. That's one. Two, you're married to this person and she's married. As long as you become each other's excuse, you're not going to be able to get away from this. And so if you love your wife, as you say, and she loves her husband, you're going to have to find a way to keep going and talking to your wife about your sexual appetites. If she's blowing you off, is she thinking this is not serious or she's not interested? How are you going to get cross to her? But here's the thing. As long as you have someone waiting in the wings, you won't try as hard at home. As long as she has someone waiting in the wings, she's not going to try either, because you're there for each other. And as you're saying, you're lusting after her. I've said before on the show, what we look for is often not real. We are stuck in a fantasy. We're stuck in thinking, imagining what that person's going to be like. And sex isn't usually the reason for people to have extramarital affairs, believe it or not. It's usually something else. And so you need to find out what that something else that's missing from your relationship. But this is certainly not the way to go. Imagine what happens when your wife and her husband find out about this, the humiliation, the shame, and what it will do to your relationships. Are you prepared for that? This is a coworker. Are you prepared for what it will be like in the office when it goes south, as it will? None of these things are perfect, and they never are. I've worked in corporate world for a long time, and sure enough, there are lots of affairs. It's shocking how many there are. And when they go south, as they always do, the people, and especially the women, are left humiliated and full of shame because of what people perceive them to be. And so that's something to think about. And then, how is your relationship with your wife going to improve? And is she going to believe that this is a one off thing? It certainly probably won't be. And so, if it's getting close, my suggestion to you is you need to separate yourself from this woman and say, look, this was a nice fantasy. This was a nice run, but I want to keep my relationship, and you need to stop being each other's options. That's the first thing. The second is you need to figure out a way to talk to your wife. And if you need a third party to help you to intervene with you, then do that, because you want to do the best you can to protect home turf, to protect home, and make sure that you are doing the best for your relationship. And so I can't see any way that this is a good idea at all. So that's my advice from the advice person.